Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? I hope you are having a fantastic Saturday. And I hope you are doing very, very well and getting a lot of reading in. I am very blessed today to have all three of my dog children in the room. Say hi, Blanche. See if she wants to come up and give you guys a smile. Oh, there she is. There she is. So she's on my lap and I have the boys down here beside me. So I apologize if there's a dog interruption into this video. So what am I coming to you today to do? I don't know if you guys know this, and I don't expect that you do, but I've done about 165 videos here or there, and I have one video that has by far outperformed all my other videos, with over 10,000 people watching it, which to me is astounding that that many people would watch any of my videos, so thank you so much. And that was a video I did quite some time ago, about 6 big books to get lost in. It was inspired by my desire to read the novel Pachenko by Min Jin Lee, and then I sort of gave 5 other suggested books to get lost in. I will link that video down below, so you guys can check it out if you haven't already. And I was going through some stuff and I noticed that that video was so watched and I was like, I should do something with that. And then I got inspired by Simon over at Savage Reach doing his big bookbender weekends where he was over some English holidays, or I think they call them bank holidays, in the UK. He was reading it like a big chunkster of a novel over those long weekends, and he was inviting people to participate. And I was like, you know what, I don't have that many holidays in my work. We don't take any of the major holidays that a lot of people get off. So I was like, I don't get a lot of 3-day weekends, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna morph that, and I think in December, I am going to read only big, like chunky books. November or December, I haven't quite decided yet. But I started to collect them, put it together, started to kind of think about how I wanted this video to come along, and then how I wanted to recommend them. Did I want to recommend a bunch of stuff that I had read, or did I want to bring you guys along on a journey of books that I haven't read? And it turned into a journey of books that I haven't read because it was inspired by a book. So I'm going to get started with that. I think I have 7 books to tell you about. So I want to get started and talk so this video doesn't go on forever. So let's go started with the book that sort of inspired everything, and that is Ohio by Stephen Markley. Now, this book came out in September. This is the ARC. I'm actually going to the city next weekend to do some book shopping where I will be picking up my official copy of this novel. And I want to tell you guys right now, I'm not going to review any of these books because I'm only halfway through, but this book is freaking blowing my mind. It is so good. And if you remember, this was one of the 6 adult buzz books at Book Expo America this year. So what I originally thought what this book was about, I originally thought it was about 4 guy friends from a high school in a small northern Ohio town, coming back to the town to deal with things. And in a way, those 4 men are very important, but this book is not about the 4 of them that I want directly. So this is the story of this town. There are these 4 guys that we meet in the very first section, and they've all had different courses in life, and they're all at different points when the novel starts. That is all I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil any of it, because as the book comes along, you will definitely want to know what's happening. The book is separated into 4 sections. The first section is by Rick. I want to say Rick. Let me make sure that that's right. Rick Brinklin, I think. Yes, Rick Brinklin. He is one of the 4 guys from this group. He is on the way back to that town. He is running an errand. He is delivering a package. He does not know who the package is for or what is in the package. And his car breaks down. It becomes an adventure. Trying to get this package where it needs to go. Rick struggles with drug addiction, and I will say, you know, when I started this book, I said to my friend Chris, I was like, another guy in a small town in the Midwest struggling with drug addiction, but Stephen Markley does it brilliantly. And what happens is, in this section, in the first section, you get introduced to the characters of the town, the high school class that these 4 guys were involved in, and some of their periphery friends. The next section is from the point of view of Stacy, who was the girlfriend of one of these guys and in high school, and her life is very different, and it's so good. And then the third section is from a periphery guy who knew one of the girlfriends. That's what I love. This is what I'm totally digging about this book, is that he has created an entire town full of people that I'm completely invested in. As I learn about what happened to them from high school on, the flashbacks are so well done. The writing is phenomenal. This town is vividly, vividly outlined in this book. I think the last section is, I don't even know, and I don't want to ruin it for myself or for you. But yeah, I'm over halfway through, totally digging it. And this book is over 400 pages. I want to say it's over 450. It is over 450. All of the books on this list will be over 400 pages or more. So, Ohio, Stephen Markley, out in September. Go get your copy. It is freaking amazing. Okay, the next book on this list probably needs the least introduction, but my friend Chris at Chris's Bookish Cauldron raved after he read The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. Now, I have not tried to read Sarah Waters. I have tried to listen to 2 Sarah Waters audiobooks, and they have not worked for me. I think she's an immersive reading experience, and for me, the audiobooks don't allow me to be immersed the way. But Little Stranger, he said it, he gave it 5 stars, raved about it. Now, this is the story it's in post-war, in rural Warwickshire. Dr. Faraday is the son of a maid. He lives in this little town, and he's called to this dilapidated old house on a doctor's call. And there's a mom, a son, and a daughter that live there. They used to be affluent, and sort of now they're struggling to keep it all together. And I guess that there may be secrets in the history of the family. I don't want to know too much more than that. I think I may try to read this in October. I'm going to do a video later this month about October reads. But I'm really super excited. I think I'm going to love Sarah Waters. For some reason, in my mind, she's like a modern-day Charles Dickens. And I love Charles Dickens. He was sort of the writer that started me as a reader. So yeah, so this was a Man Booker finalist. This is The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. That's probably the best known book on this list. The next book that I want to get into is Kintu by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi. Now, this is out by Transit Book in the UK. It has a different publisher. Transit Book in the US has a different publisher in the UK, but I happen to know it is out in both places. This is sort of the saga of the Kintu family in Uganda. It starts in 1750. We have sort of the patriarch who is going to the major city to pledge alliance to the new leader, and then he sort of curses his family, and we follow that family saga through time. And I haven't read a lot of books set in Uganda, and actually I don't think I've read any books set in Uganda that I can pull off out of the top of my head. My friend Denise read this book and raved about it. Everyone I know that has read it, I think Eric of Lonesome Reader has also read this and thinks it's very good, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know why. I just don't know why. It is a bit of a chunkster. I think this one's like 600 pages. Oh no, it's only 450. I don't know why. But that's Kintu by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi. And again, out by Transit Books. Support your little local publishers, guys. They do a lot of great work. The next book is also out, though I'm going to be holding up the ARC. And is a book that I really want to dive into. But for some reason, I feel like it's a summer read. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. And so I wonder if I need to wait, because I don't think I'm going to wait. But I am super excited to pick up The Air You Breathe by Frances de Pontes Pebbles. She has such an amazing name. This is set in 1930s Brazil, I want to say. And it's a story of a young girl that works on a sugar plantation, and the rich daughter of, I want to say the owner, come in to become friends. They run away together, and sort of a tragic betrayal sort of dictates how their life is going to be moving forward. This book has blurbs by Alexander Chee, Rebecca Mackay on it, and you know how much I love Rebecca Mackay's The Great Believers. I really think I'm going to dive into this. This was also a Book of the Month Club pick, so I know that they only pick highest quality books, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet, other than for me, 1930s Brazil, I just think like sweltering heat, and so I kind of want that outside these windows when I read it, But that is the only reason, and that is a silly reason not to read a book. And this one is a bit of a chunkster. This one is also 450 pages, but it's a big book, 450 pages. So that's The Air You Breathe by Francis de Pontes Pebbles. And again, thank you to Riverhead Books who sent me the ARC early. So thank you very much. Okay, the next one is an epic fantasy YA first book in a trilogy. And I don't know, you guys, I think all of us of a certain age count Harry Potter as one of the quintessential experiences of our reading life. I know there are some people that don't like Harry Potter. I get it. It's not perfect in every way. But for me, I read those books, I devoured them, I love them, and I nostalgically think about them with high praise. This book is getting a lot of comparison, and it's by one of my favorite independent publishers, and that is A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. This is out by Europa Editions, and it is translated from the French by Hildegard Surreal. Now, this book has a complicated plot. It is the first, I want to say, in a trilogy. It's either a trilogy or maybe it's 4 books. I'm not even sure. But it says, a mix of awkward misfit and misunderstood genius, Ophelia cares little about appearances or other people's opinions of her. She possesses 2 special gifts, an unrivaled talent for reading the past of objects and the ability to travel through mirrors. Her peaceful, if somewhat dull, existence on the Ark of Anime is interrupted when she's promised in marriage to Thorn, a taciturn and influential member of a powerful clan from a distant Ark, the cold and icy pole. Ophelia must follow her fiancé to the towering city of Celeste, I don't think I said that right, where nobody can be trusted. There, in the company of her inscrutable future husband, Ophelia slowly realizes that she is a pawn in a political game that will have far-reaching ramifications, not only for her, but for her entire family. Lose yourself in the world of the arcs and in the company of an unforgettable character in the French runaway hit by debut author Christelle Dabos. The first installment in a quartet, so it is definitely a quartet. So this is book 1. I think that sounds so freaking fantastic. And oh my God, you guys, this cover is brilliant. So that is A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos, out by Europa Editions. Thank you, Europa, for sending me a copy of this book. And again, it is translated from the French by Hildegard Surreal. I have a feeling we're going to see this, and I think you guys may see this. If it is as good as I hope it's going to be, it may be in my Christmas recommendations for your young adult / adults who enjoy young adult reading. Okay, 2 more to get through real quick. And maybe not real quick, because I want to make sure I talk about them. This book is a chunkster, and that's The Resurrection of Joan Ashby by Cherise Wolas. And the reason that this book keeps popping up in my mind is that her new book is out, and the cover of her new book is fantastic. But I keep telling myself, you have to read this one before you can buy our new one. Trying to have some self-control, people. Some self-control. This is the story of Joan. Joan is a brilliant writer. She falls in love, she gets married, but she and her husband have sort of this agreement that career is going to dictate their lives. She wants to be a world-renowned novelist, and she has the talent. But then she gets pregnant, and her husband is surprisingly excited about this, surprisingly to her. And so she decides to sort of put that career goal on hold and raise her children. And she has 2 boys, and she's raising them, and she's finally finishing her first novel. And she's about to publish her first novel, and some sort of, I think it says in here, Shakespearean betrayal. Shakespearean, so you know it's not good. Derails her or interrupts, let's put it that way. Everyone I know that's read this book has really liked it, but it is a chunkster. And so I just need to really get into it, and I kind of do love this cover. So that's The Resurrection of Joan Ashby by Cherise Wolas. And then last but not least is my friend Emily at Possibly Literate's favorite book ever. And the reason I haven't read it is because it's impossible to carry around, and I'm not home that much. But that is My Favorite Thing is Monsters. It's a graphic novel by Emil Ferris. And just look at the cover, you guys. And let me show you just some of the art. The art is just, this one was scary and amazing. I am going to say, just flipping through some of the art, this is not a PG book, so please do not go into it thinking it's a graphic novel that you can possibly read with your children. I won't show any of the non-PG stuff, but I just want to give that sort of warning out. So this is a debut graphic novel. It's a murder mystery, a family drama, a sweeping historical epic, a psychological thriller about monsters real and imagined, within and without. It's set against the tumultuous political backdrop of the late 60s in Chicago and narrated by a 10-year-old Karen Reyes through her fictional graphic diary. And you guys, there's so much to love about this. I hear, and I didn't do the research because I didn't want to say anything wrong, but I hear the author has a pretty phenomenal story of herself. I need to just sit down and read it and maybe just suck it up and carry it wherever I go. So that is my favorite thing is Monsters by Emil Ferris. Who published this? By Fantagraphic Books. And I hear that there is a sequel coming out. So, and if you don't believe me, Emily, and possibly Literate, calls this her favorite book of all time. So she is not to be messed with. So I think we should all read it. So that was 7 big books to get lost in. I plan to get lost in them. Have you guys read any of them? I bet some of you have read The Little Stranger. Please go and buy them all. Let's read them together. Let's talk about them. Super excited for you guys. As always, if you are a return subscriber to my channel, thank you so very much. I appreciate every minute. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much. I hope I like what you saw. I hope this video is as popular as my first one about big books to get lost in. And as always, until next time, happy reading, and we'll talk to you later. Bye!